I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes? The average 35 or 45?
You said 35.
No, I know, but I'm switching it. So do you think the average 45-year-old woman is hotter than the average 25-year-old woman?
No.
Anybody? Any takers on that one?
I hope that I beat the average, but I'm gonna say,
Yeah, but it's comparing average to average, right?
yeah, but I'm gonna just say like
Throwing your
average,
hopes
especially
out there.
nowadays. People are not aging gracefully.
We should ask chat. Yo, chat, do you think the average 35-year-old woman is hotter than the average
Maybe older
25-year-old
generations, yeah.
woman? I think I don't even need to ask. I mean, the answer is obvious. The average 25-year-old woman is hotter than the average 35-year-old.
To men, for sure.
To women,
I think
too?
25 is like prime.
Probably. 25 is prime?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
What do you think is prime?
18, between 18 and 25. Like that age range is
Yeah.
prime. What's wrong with it? You mean an adult woman? You mean an adult woman? That's the.
I don't think that's prime.
Well, I said between 18 and 25. That's your looks prime.
It fluctuates for different people.
Yeah, I guess. Like maybe like now's generation, yeah.
As opposed to when?
As opposed, because I just feel like people now are not aging as well as like our ancestors.
Oh, I don't. I mean, I
Have
don't
you
know.
thought about that?
But you ever see these old videos of like people in high school in the 90s, and they look
Old.
old.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
feel like the younger
There's a
generation.
lot that people are doing today that back then to affect your looks.
Yeah.
That is altering it.
this is true.
So I definitely looked a heck of a lot better in my 30s than I did my 20s. That was my prime.
Okay. But that's for like health reasons or?
How I looked,
Oh, okay.
my confidence, how I took care of myself. I blossomed in my 30s. My 20s, I didn't care so much about myself.
Here, let me ask a different question. As a woman gets older, do her dating options typically increase or decrease?
Decrease for sure.
Decrease.
Okay, I'll say decrease.
Decrease. Decrease.
Decrease. Decrease.
Wait, so hold on though. If, as a woman gets older, her dating options decrease, doesn't this mean that they're less attractive?
No, because
To
men know
men.
that this older woman has way more standards.
Oh, boy.
And she's way harder to get than the younger, naive.
This
yes,
is
I'll
actually
do-
not true at all.
Really?
I reject the premise.
Really?
With age,
Young men
Yeah.
like older women who are confident, they know what they want,
But I
they
feel
don't
like,
play games.
sorry.
I think older women are easier to get.
That's what I was just gonna say. I think as you grow older, the less to like high standards you have because you're
Like,
getting older.
Here's my argument for it.
If you're not with anyone.
Like here's my argument for it,
I
right?
think your standards raise. I mean, they should raise.
But you're saying so as women get older, they become harder to get, right? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know where my brain was going with that. Sorry. I think they are, yes, they're harder to get because these women now have much more standards and they're not willing to put up with games from these young dudes who want to play games.
So they have much
even,
higher standards.
And even older dudes still play games.
Okay, so I guess I disagree though because so if it was easier for so like let's talk 35-year-olds, right? So you think, for example, a 35-year-old is actually no, let's do 30 and 20. Do you think a 30-year-old man, like the average 35-year-old man, and then average 30-year-old women, average 20-year-old woman, who do you think he's gonna have an easier time actually getting? The 30-year-old or the 20-year-old?
Easier time, the 20-year-old.
Yeah, 100%.
No.
100%.
Because
No.
men
Yes.
are not intellectually
What?
as because men do not intellectually age and mature as fast as women do. So they're going to match with somebody who's kind of more on their level, which is going to be the 20-year-old.
Hold on.
Well, younger women are easier to manipulate as well.
Precisely, and mold
that's
and
not
shape,
true.
and
Yeah, they
It's
are.
not
she'll
true.
put up with a
Of course
lot
they are,
more.
naivete,
The 30-year-old,
And they don't expect
No.
as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but you're saying like, I would argue.
Now I'm forming a
I
union.
would argue that younger women, if you're an older guy, younger women are harder to get than women your own age.
What?
Wait, say that
Older
one
men
more
don't
time.
want women their own age.
They want younger women.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Older men
men don't-
want younger women.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in order for a 30-year-old guy to date a 20-year-old, he can't just be the average 30-year-old guy. For him to be able to attract a 20-year-old, he's going to have to bring, like, he's going to have to be attractive, exceedingly attractive in some metric. Yes.
Yeah, he's got to bring something. He's got to
He has to
bring.
bring
He's got to
something.
bring. He's got to bring money.
has
He's
to
got to
bring
bring. He's got
something.
a nice car. He's got.
It would
yeah,
be
he's gotta
different if
bring-
it was just like a one night stand. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But
she's
if they're
drunk
looking to
already.
like date, then like, yeah, she's gonna look for something.
Okay. Like,
he could hook up pretty easily.
Yeah.
He could hook up pretty easily.
with a no,
Any average
no,
30-year-old?
it's not true.
I think it's true.
I've
you think
seen it on
you think a
numerous
30-year-old
occasions.
has a better chance fucking a 20-year-old than another 30-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who? Okay.
Maybe a 25-year-old will
Maybe
meet you
not for
halfway.
you.
So,
Maybe
what do you mean?
is that
I'll
your
meet you
experience or
halfway.
something? Like,
No, it's. I would argue most men aren't. Most 30-year-old
Well,
men
most
are not going to
women-
be attractive enough to because like, here's the thing. I would argue that a 20-year-old woman is going to need like a lot more for her to be willing to date that 30-year-old. Like, he can't just be, if she's an average 20-year-old, he's going to have to like excel in some sort of metric of attraction
So
to be
he's-
able to date her.
But he's 30. But like
He's 30.
intellectually, he's like 25. So he's gonna go for the 20-year-old. Okay, she's 5 years younger.
Looks
than me
play a
intellectually.
huge looks play a huge thing here though, because your
True.
average 20-year-old, if
it just
she's
depends.
not very, I don't want to say not very attractive, but if she definitely is not the girl who got the guys all the time,
Yes.
she is going to
She's more
easier be with that
insecure.
30, their average 30-year-old. If you're someone who's always been able to get the guy because you're just hot, then you're not going to go for that average 30-year-old unless he's got something to bring. Now, if he's a
Right.
hot 30-year-old, then yes.
Can I ask you a
Unfortunately, looks play a huge part
Yeah.
in this.
What's up?
I want to ask her a personal question. Are you like pretty younger than your husband? Or?
Yeah, 7 years younger.
Okay. Because I was just seeing where your head was at with the saying how they're a lot less mature.
And this is true though. Men mature a lot slower than women do.
Also, you mentioned younger women are easier to manipulate, but then you also said that women, as they age, have less options. You remember saying that? Mm-hmm. So, aren't you harder to manipulate if you have more options? And don't the people that have more options tend to be younger women?
Wait.
And so,
aren't
if,
you harder to manipulate when you have more options?
if you have
No.
more options, you're harder to manipulate. 100%.
That's correlated.
100%.
I don't think that that's
so.
correlated.
For example,
I don't agree with the premise.
But okay, cool. So you're saying men like younger women because younger women are easier to manipulate.
I think that's
But hold on,
easier
hold
to
on.
get.
You said manipulate, so I'll go
No,
with
yeah,
that.
manipulate. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I disagree that older women are harder to get, or that younger women are easier to manipulate. So first off, I don't think anybody should be manipulating anybody. But I could, for example, provide this: a woman who's 35, who's like, I want to have children. My options are dwindling. Don't have kids yet. Not even dating a guy. She's much more likely, I think, because she realized time is ticking. She has far less time to secure a man. You could just make the argument she's easier to manipulate because she's like, shit, I gotta get a guy. I gotta find a guy. Time's running out. Can you just make the argument she's easier to manipulate?
You can make that argument, yeah.
I just did.
Are you asking if I agree with that?
You disagree?
No, I don't agree with that.
Huh. Interesting how that works.
That we might disagree on something.
Okay.
As you get older, you're supposed
Yeah.
to learn from your experiences. So if you're 35 and getting manipulated by some dude,
Yeah, that's not gonna.
come
happen.
on.
Not
She
only
might, she might
not-
be a more desperate. She might be in a more
Yeah, she might
desperate
be my-
situation, but she's not easier to manipulate.
Manipulate.
Younger women are
Wouldn't that-
easier
if
to
you're more
manipulate,
desperate-
but not more desperate. Those two things are two separate.
Desperate
things.
doesn't mean you'll
How
take
would I- okay,
anything.
yes.
It means
Here,
you want
let
to
me-
take.
Fine, I'll engage with that. How would one manipulate a younger woman?
Just because she doesn't know as much. You could promise
How?
her the world, but she might just believe words instead of actions. Whereas an older woman would be like, I've been through that. I've done that. I'm going to see what you do, not what you just say. She might be like, I really want to get married right now and I want to start having kids, but I'm not going to settle
Wait,
for someone who
that
just
would make her-
talks.
that
Let
would-
me finish.
that would make her
Who just-
easier to manipulate.
That's not easier to manipulate. That's just
That would
somebody
make her
who
easier
want-
to manipulate.
I think
No.
Let me just, I'll tell you why. So a younger woman might be more inclined to like, well, I don't want kids yet. I don't want to really settle down. I just want to have fun. I'm in my 20s. Fuck it. Just trying to have fun, whatever. Maybe she's casually dating. Promising her the world doesn't mean shit. But promising the world to a woman who's like, I need to settle down, she's easier to manipulate right there. Because she wants that. Whereas the 20-year-old, oh, you want to be a provider? Don't give a fuck. These 20-year-old girls, oh, you want to be a provider? Don't care. I want the hot college dude. Don't care.
I think that all of these situations
Wait.
exist.
One more question.
I don't think it's
Hold on,
more.
one more question. Do you think when women are younger, they care more about looks than the male who can provide?
Yes.
Probably.
You think college girls care more about looks or a guy who can provide?
Probably about looks when you're younger. I would
Okay, so you can't
imagine.
promise a 20-year-old girl the world because they don't give a fuck.
Right.
They don't care.
I mean, they still care. I mean, it doesn't. It
Morgan,
just depends.
do you
what
give a
you're-
fuck about if a guy can provide for you when you're 18, right? No. You give a fuck if a guy can provide for you? You probably care more if he's like fun and cool and good looking, right? Okay, W. Thank you, Morgan.
I mean, I don't
18,
disagree
right.
with
But
that
the
either.
35-year-old woman who's
She
also desperate.
She wants a cool, fun guy who she gets along with. She
We
doesn't
don't
care.
disagree on that.
She'll
But
do-
the 35-year-old woman who's desperate is going through a screening process. She's going on these dates. She's like, "Do you have a house?
Yeah,
What's
do
your
you have
credit?
this? Do you have
What's
this?
your
Do
credit
this?"
score? Da 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 da.
And if a
Do you
woman
have
is
baby mama drama? And if
And
any
yeah.
of that, and if you're not passing those tests,
You're out.
you're out.
And if a woman
not
is doing
putting up with
something
no
right
BS.
as she gets older, she already has everything she needs.
Right.
Right.
I have the house, you have the good job, you have the money coming in. I'm not going to just take somebody, just anybody.
If she's
Yeah.
waited that long too to find somebody, she's just not going to settle. She's not easily manipulated.
Yeah.
So what does it even
She
mean?
wants it
what does
more.
it mean to manipulate somebody though? I don't even know. What does that look like? How would I manipulate a 20-year-old woman that like I can't manipulate a 30-year? I'm just confused.
Because the 20-year-old doesn't have as much experience. She
So?
hasn't. So she might be getting manipulated without even realizing it.
Like
But how?
emotionally
But that's
She
manipulated.
believes
How am
the
I
things that you
Because
That's
say
not
without knowing that it's a
manipulation
game.
because she knows what she wants during that time. It's not manipulation, though.
Sorry.
That's what she's choosing to do.
Wait, what did you say?
It's not really manipulation if that's what she chooses to do and that's what she wants to get herself.
Right, but manipulation is saying one thing and then doing another. Like he's saying, "I'm going to promise you X, Y, and Z." She realizes 2 years later, man, this guy really ain't worth.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Please. So I think that the length of the relationship plays a huge part too, because I think that two girls can meet a guy and the guy can, okay, let's say that there's a guy and he is dating the 30-year-old and the 20-year-old at the same time. He's playing a completely different game, but still manipulating both of them. I think the relationship with the 20-year-old will last a lot longer because the 30-year-old's not going to be able to read into, or she will be able to read into things much more quickly, like see where things, because you just gain wisdom as you grow older and experience things, especially over the course of 10 years.
Facts.
While I would tend to agree with you that as you gain experience, you're perhaps more impervious to manipulation, but her claim was men want to date younger women because they're easier to manipulate. I don't see any evidence.
I don't think that
see any
they
evidence
want
of that.
I think that's why it happens. It might not be conscious. I think that men want to date younger women because they're like, oh, she has perky ass tits and she's young looking. I think that's why men want to date young women, because of pretty much their biological drive, whether they're aware of it or not. I think they get women because they're easier to manipulate. They have lower standards. They don't have as much experience.
They get the women because the women are more easily manipulated. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're easier to get when they're younger.
So wait, easier to get equals manipulated.
No, I'm
You use
kinda
look.
confused.
You use the word manipulated.
I think younger women are easier to manipulate.
So, what does that have to do with a guy who's men's attraction to younger women?
I mean, I think that it's easier for them to get younger women because they're easier to manipulate. Like, they're easier to impress. You know what I'm saying? Like, a younger woman might be like, oh my God, he drives a Porsche and he has money, da 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 da.
It's like Aladdin. Takes her on the carpet. She's like, whoa.
Whereas an older woman might be like, I don't give a fuck what kind of car you drive. Like, are you a good person? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not going to be
She
as
wants to
impressive
get down
her.
to the
No, I
facts.
still
I
care
don't
about the
agree.
car he drives.
I don't agree with that.
Sure.
That makes two of us.
Husband drives a
I
nice
mean,
car.
going back to Morgan's example here, Morgan's
motorcycle.
18.
That's right.
She's probably not overly preoccupied with like, wow, does he have like some penthouse apartment? Like most young women who are in college will date the dude who lives in a dorm room. Will date the dude who's got like 3 roommates, 3 housemates. It's older women who are going to have higher expectations. They want a guy who has his own house. They want a guy who has his own car. A 18, 19, 20-year-old girl will date a dude who takes the bus. Would it be, perhaps they might have a preference, it might be nicer if he has his own car.
Yeah.
But this idea that women who are older don't care about the material things?
I think if there's a young guy who's good looking, he doesn't really have a lot going on for him necessarily. Yeah, a young girl's probably not going to be as like, no, I'm not going to date you. But that guy's pursuing her. Another guy who's 30 is also pursuing her, but he has a good car and a house and more money. She's probably going to pick him if he's also good looking.
I actually disagree. Grant,
If she was given the choice, yeah.
Given the choice
If she
between
was
the two
given
of
the
them.
choice.
between the better looking young guy,
Like, if he's still a good looking older guy, he's not like ugly as fuck, but he's rich. It's like he's still good looking, you know.
well, the
He can't
thing
be
is
butt
though,
ugly.
Yeah, he can't.
is here's the thing. So I don't think that's the case because there is not a lack of men who are in their late 20s or 30s who are well off or have jobs, whatever, who would love to date an attractive 20-year-old baddie. But it seems to me that most 20-year-old women, there are some 20-year-old women, no problem, will date an older guy. Most 20-year-old women probably want to date men around their age.
Yeah,
21, 20. And we know this because those are the men that they're dating in relationships with and sleeping with.
Yeah, women.
I'm not
tend to
saying it
like
doesn't
men
happen.
Their same age.
But you think if we were to pull, all the 20-year-old women, what's the distribution of them who are dating like a guy between the age of 20 and 22? And then what's the distribution of them who are dating men in their 30s? It's probably like less than 5% of them are dating men in their 30s. And then 95% of them are dating men their age.
Probably, but I think more of them are dating a guy at least a year older or somewhat older. I mean, we don't know. Is it
Yeah, but I don't really.
1 year
I mean,
older,
that's not
2
really
years
an
older?
Age gap. I don't consider that an age gap. A 20-year-old dating a
It still
21-year-old?
is an age gap.
It's not really.
Okay, yeah, he was born a day before her. This predator, this fucking predator piece of shit. There's a 24-hour gap between they were born. Fucking.
So what would you consider a gap?
He
20,
wants to
20 and
manipulate
25?
this younger, this 24-hour younger. Ugh, gives me the ick. What's that? Go ahead.
What would you consider an age gap? Like 5 years and more?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I think, yeah, over 5.
I'm curious what the numbers actually are.
But I mean, I do want to answer the question. Of the women who are 20, who are like seeing somebody dating a guy, hooking up with a guy, you think more often than not, it's like a guy around their age as compared to like a guy in his late 20s, early 30s
Around,
or
yeah.
older. I'd say it's like 95,
Within 5 years.
95% they're probably dating.
Yeah.
Unless they're looking for someone to pay for their college.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, that's what I was going to say. A lot of the time, when it's a really big age gap and the woman is a lot younger, she's usually there for other like
Monetary.
ulterior motives than just wanting to be with him.
Maybe. If it's really big, like if it gets like 20 plus, like 20, 40, there's probably a monetary thing.
Yeah.
But I think like 20 and like
What's going on?
late 20s, early 30s.
No.
No, that's like,
Not necessarily money.
Right.
Like he could just be like really attractive guy in his.
yeah.
So. Good talk.
Good talk.